Hello everyone, this is Jaya for the session of digitalization with the interesting study through it. So we are dealing with the topic of digitalization, which comprises of the definition of it, the importance, the examples with scenarios, and with the case study, how it helps to grow or how it is important for a business model. So, first we'll deal with the scenario where there are two friends in the name of Bob and David who are working in the business tours and travel and they are very happy. But when it comes into the business matter, the Bob is earning less and David is earning more. So, what is the reason behind why is Bob is earning less and David is earning more? The reason behind it, the Bob is working in a traditional way. The traditional way gives us the physical paperwork, taking more and more approvals on the paper. There are a bunch of papers, and even they are looking all the accommodation, taking out the visa things. So these are taking a lot of time for the customers. And that's the reason the customers are not happy with the service, and that's the reason Bob is struggling with the business. Whereas when we see about David, he's doing everything in a digitalization way, whether to keep the documents on an online platform, whether he is taking all the approvals, looking after the visa things, booking all the stuff for the customers, and whatever the customer require the service, he's trying to complete it on time. That's the reason David is earning more and more profits, and he is completing in a more instant way. If you see in today's era, everybody wants that instant solution for their service. As if I want to take my example also, I would be also seeing the same instant solution for my service, for my complaint, or for my queries. So that's the main thing when we are talking about the digitalization in today's world, because digitalization is really very important when we are talking in a business matter. So now we'll understand what is the difference between. So difference between the traditional way, it takes a lot of time. It's a total time of consuming. Lot of manpower is used. High costing is there. Lot of errors would be happening and very slow processing. But in a digitalization method, it is less time consumption, less manpower is used, very low costing. Then the risk of errors is very low and very fast processing. So that's the reason, whether in a domestic world or in a business world, everybody wants to take the digitalization method in their own way, because digitalization is giving more and more instant solution to their services, or you can say it is for their own requirements. We can say about the consumers as well as for the domestic things, we can also tell, because digitalization had played a very important role in it. Second, we will understand in the slide what is actually digitalization. So if we talk about to define digitalization, that would be like they are comprising of four pillars when we talk about digitalization or the definition. So one comes the technology, second comes the data, third comes the process, and last comes the organizational change. So how would you tell that what is technology? Technology is a in a business module, the business person who's using that technology, whether it is a new or he wants to create a new technology for his or her platform, it takes to apply or modify the existing technology in their platform. So that makes really easy for easy to run the business on an online platform. That is, it requires to modify the technology, existing technology, as per the market requirement, which everybody wants. So nobody wants the past technology in the things. They want the good technology to be there, whether it is related to their app interface, related to their website interface, anything. It should be really friendly where the technology comes around. Second comes the data. So data is more about, it gives the real time picture of the particular brand or the company. So that's the reason we can get that data and an online platform. That is really very easy when we are talking about. But when we see in a traditional way, is it possible that we can take these numbers on a physical manner? No, we can't take it because it's really tough to do it. So that's the reason. Digitalization is a tool where I can just compile those data on an online platform and get it done. I can do the market analysis. I can see where is my brand or the company is standing as per the market of today's situation. Then comes the automation process that I was talking about. The third pillar was the process. So when we automate these processes, it makes the complexity of those activities smoother. So if it becomes smoother, it gives a more and more transparency and effectiveness to those activities so that it becomes easier for the consumers when the process is automated. Because these things make the thing easier and smoother for the consumers because they can do whatever they want to do it in the app, whether they are looking for the product and if they are having enough information in that particular app or website. So if the process is automated, it becomes easier for the consumers as well as for the business people. Then comes the organizational change. So when these three uh, pillars are in hand, so the last comes the organizational change. So when all these things are on the order, so there is a heavy demand from the consumers. As you all understood that consumer require every each and everything to be perfect, right? So when you talk about your own product or the company, so you want that product to be improved more and more and more things to be included in that particular product. So for that, you require your manpower or to your people that they should have new ideas, new activities to get that product to be improvised. So this is how the full digitalization works, and this is how the consumers get their product in such a way that you can understand in today's world through this digitalization tool whether the people are liking the product or not. This is the way these pillars actually help the business people to run their business on an online platform. These are really important key points when we are talking about digitalization. Second comes the importance of digitalization. So I would suggest the importance of digitalization have three key points. The first would be everybody will agree with me that there should be the risk of error should be less. You all know when you simply, I'll take a one example about if I'm writing a letter, a simple letter, or drafting some letter to anybody. So when we are doing in a traditional way, I'm just talking in a simple manner because I'm not talking about in a business through. I'm just talking about a simple, I'm drafting a letter and there would be a lot of errors. And and the most interesting thing when I drafted that letter and I kept that letter in a drawer, somehow it got lost or it got somewhere lost or somewhere anything can happen to that particular paper. So it is not very easy to draft it again. You all agree with this point. But when we are doing in a digitalization method, whether we are doing analysis, whether we are drafting anything, but it is really safe and it is less of errors because whatever I'm drafting, we are getting those errors, we are getting that popping up that okay, this sentence is not correct or the spelling is not correct. So this is how it helps us to improvise our letter or whatever the proposal we are drafting on that particular time. If it is in case it is lost, but we can able to retrieve it as well as we can fix our system through it. So this is how is one of the things that it reduces the errors in our work. But if you see in a traditional manner, it doesn't reduce it. It only increases day by day. Second point would be the retention of the customer. You all agree when you run a business, whether individually or a corporate or anything, so consumers are really important. And that's the reason when you are running in an online platform. So the first major focus point when you have to retain those customers is to Listen to their queries, listen to their complaints, and if you can give that instant solution, I will uh, I will recommend that this service is very good. Even the consumer side, if you see that he or she will be very happy with your solution, or whatever you are giving the solution for their particular complaint or a query. That's a main point. And this is how you can retain those customers, and the customers will be very happy, and they will recommend your services to the other people. That is how the retention of the customers are really, really important in it. And I would be, if I would be in that particular position that my product is damaged or something, and if I get an instant resolution from an online platform for a particular brand or a company, so I'll be really happy, because I'm also sitting in a consumer shoes, because I'm also buying the things from an online platform. And if I'm getting something bad, or if I'm not getting the correct product of my choice, so I'll be complaining, I'll having those queries with an online platform, with the company, with the brand, so that I can understand what is the issue. So if they understand the consumer's issue and they try to resolve it, that is the most important thing. And that is how you retrieve or you retain your customer in such a way that your profits are increased. You get the repeat purchases on your website. So these are the 2 points. Third point would be, which I told you, there are 3 points, three key points, which are the last point would be the document secured. You all agree when you are putting anything, whether your data, whether your letters, whether your proposal, whether your contract, anything. If you're putting on your system on an online platform, it is really very, very secured, because if your system crashes or something happens to your system, you can just get through it, you can retrieve it, you can save your data in an online platform, you can fix that system in such a way that you can retrieve it immediately. So this is how the importance of digitalization and the pain of taking those bunch of papers and taking a good care of papers. In digitalization, you don't have to take that much pain, but in tradition, it is still have those pains who are doing the business in a traditional way, and they have to keep the books, the pages, everything, and you can't remember which paper has what details. But in digitalization, you have that thing that you can just retrieve it, you can see it, you can just understand, you can even name those folders where what all documents you are having in your system. That is what the importance of digitalization in today's era when you are running an online business platform. So the next slide comprises of examples of digitalization. So how would you understand what is the, I would give simple example of digitalization that would be digital signatures. You are applying for a credit card or something. I just giving a simple example. That is actually when you go for an applying for a credit card or even for a loan of a property. So earlier it was like you have to go to the agent, you have to stand for his appointment, and when he gives the time, then you have to sit for the bunch of papers, signing it, giving your documents and everything. It was really painful. If I be in your place, in a consumer's place, I'll be also not very satisfied with this type of a service, because nobody wants that type of a service in a traditional way. Everybody wants those services to be at the doorstep. That's what in today's world, even if you're taking a loan for education loan or any property loan, so you can do it on an online platform. You can just fill up the forms, you can give your scanned documents, you can do a digital signature. That becomes really helpful. And that the processing part is really faster. When you're talking about a traditional, it is taking like 15 to 20 days, and you don't know whether that product will be reached to your service. I hope you agree with that, because everybody is talking about the instant resolution. So this is the one of the examples where the processing is also fast, and you are getting that document at your doorstep. That because I always do an online, you can say I do a lot of shopping on online platforms. So I'm booking it for a service for a home cleaning even. So I took that service online because I don't want to go around and search for the people or search for the product. I'll do it online and it saves my time. I don't have I we don't have that much of time to consume to look out for it. So we can do it on an online platform, and we can look out which are the services which we can take it. We can even take a survey of if you're taking a product like a television for your homes. You can just select it online, and you can see what are you can compare those prices, whether it is a whether you are getting a good deal or not. Even I also look the same, so I'll be looking into that particular matter. So this is what a complete example when I'm talking about the digitalization, and this is really an important tool when you're running that business on an online. Then the second slide comprises of the advantages of digitalization. So what I have discussed till now with that comprises of time saving, cost saving, accuracy, easy distribution, secured and increase of profit. So these are the main points when we are talking about it, because when we talk about digitalization and these tools or these points are not there, these sub factors are not there, you can't run a business so smoothly. So these time saving is always there, cost saving, you can do it because you don't have to travel here and there. You can just sit on your laptop and search for the particular brand, company, whatever you want. Even the accuracy part is far more better when you are using the digitalization tool, but in traditional, you can't find that accuracy. Easy distribution, you can even promote your brand or a company through social media sites, or because you don't have that much of time to do the printing of the flyers and going out and distributing to everybody. But if you're doing it online, it would be much easier. If you just drop a post on a social media, it becomes it grabs the attention of all the customers, so that it becomes really easy to get to know about that subject. So, second, lastly, secure. The all documents are really secured when you're putting all the data on online platform. But if you see on the other hand, in traditional part, that is not secured. Increase in profit, which I told you in the importance that if you retain those customers, you will get those increased profits. You will increase many purchases for your particular brand or the company, because that would be recommended by those customers to the other people to come to your website. It will increase your wider range for the customers for your products and the company. So that is how these points are really important when you are running the business online. Then we are concluding this session with a case study, and this case study is we are using a QR code where you all know it's a really a perfect a small box with a small image with a black and white image, and which have a powerful tool to be used. You can do anything with the QR code. I'm not selling that QR code, or I'm not saying anything with that. I'm just saying the usefulness of that particular code in the business. So, you all know when you do all the shopping, so that becomes easy when you are taking up particular product. So today's session, which I'm dealing with the QR code, when you're buying clothes, if you buy a clothes on an store on an online platform by scanning that QR code, so it comes an effective journey in that particular small image, which gives you the information about that label or wherever you're scanning that code in the clothing. When your apparels which you are purchasing, you get the details of the apparel. Secondly, you can get the price, you can compare those with the other labels, because in a supermarket you have different brands, you have different labels, and you have different codes and different information, and that's what makes it useful when you are talking about a QR code. So this is somehow it looks like this, like when you want to particular brand, you want to buy an apparel for a particular brand. So you can just scan it and you can get the information. Not that just only the information which I'm talking about, it can also lead to a customer journey. How would it do that? Because every customer has that intention when they are going. Even I go to buy simple clothing also. So I look out at different things, different brands, different deals, everything. It is not only that here we are just scanning the QR code, that leads a perfect customer dealing also, because a customer experience is also added into that particular QR code when we are talking about in a brand or a company. So when we do that, when we go to a store, this is a simple line of actions when we go for a clothing. Even this is my line of action also when I buy a something suitable clothing from an online or from the store. When we do it, we get the perfect information, as you know, about the label, about the particular clothing and everything. Then when we bought that particular cloth, we can have a feedback form when we buy that apparel, that particular apparel from that particular brand. So they, in that particular QR code, when you bought that cloth, there gives a customer feedback form. And of, because that feedback form gives you the exact experience of the customer when he bought this apparel, that particular cloth. Because there are different questions and you can understand what are the customer needs, what is the customer experience the person had when he was buying, he or she is buying that particular cloth. So this also help in a business to grow, because when you get to know what are the customer requirements, what the customer demands from your particular brand or a company, you can enhance that, you can improvise those things in your product so that you can grab more and more customers for your clothing brand. So that is what the useful. Uh, I'm not telling it's a selling or something. It I'm only talking about the usefulness of that particular image, which gives a lot of things to gain that customer feedback also. Because it's not only that you are only looking for information, right? If you are on a business side, so you will always have a look for a customer. Even if you go somewhere, everybody, even in a restaurant or a hotel or anywhere, if you're purchasing something or a product or anything, everyone wants that feedback from you. So this is how the QR code is effective, is useful. Who are running the business of this apparel business, they can include this, and they can even include that customer feedback form after buying that particular cloth from your company. So that would be really useful, and that would be much easier to get that experience from the customer, and then you can improvise it, you can enhance it, whatever you want, so that you can meet up the customer and you can increase the profits for your company. So this is what a case study which I dealt today. It is similar to my company, which is I'm dealing with. um, I'm representing the company of Uxlivinglab, where it is a market research consultant, and we actually look about the customer feedbacks, customer insights. We try to give you the analytical reports, whatever. It's a simple. The registration part is very simple. When we talk about that, we have to just give it the name and the email ID, and a QR code is created, and through that you could just if you want to know the information about our products or the services, we can give you the information about. You can just put a message in our inbox so that I can just respond to you guys. And we all deal with this QR code. We can give you the customer insight. We will do the customer feedback day after day. Listen to the customer, what they want for your particular company, or if you want the reports, how your brand or company is working, we can also try to help you in that. So we are basically into this customer feedback plus in analytical reports, where we can help you out, we can make you to understand what are the voice of the customers for your brand or the company, so that you can understand in today's market situation where is your product or a company is standing. We'll help you to improvise it, we'll help you to innovate something, innovate your product more and more. We can do a strategies for the same. So I would suggest that you should come to our website, which I'll be giving you in your mailbox in this comment section, and just let us know whatever you what is your requirement, what are the service you are looking for. If you're looking for something research part for your brand or a company, how it is going, we can help you in that. And if you want an appointment and to discuss further about the products or the services, we can do also that. uh, I'll share you the calendar link for the same, and you can just book an appointment, and we'll get to you, and we'll try to understand what is are your needs. We'll help you in all respect, because we always value our customers so much, so that they could get the proper results. So that is what I'm dealing, and that is what I'm representing my company, because it's a market research, and we'll try to help you out in the ways to run your business smooth. I hope this would be, I would also share, this is a site where I'll share you the QR code, and you just look out what all things you require, what all the service you requires, and how it works, what are the pricing. So you get a picture for our site, you get to know about how it works. And if you want a further information regarding it, just let me know in the inbox. I'll help you out in this case. Thank you so much for attending this session.